What's going on, my fellow rock and rollers? Don't forget to hit the bell notification icon to be notified every time I put out a new video on YouTube. And today I want to talk about a little known piece of Guns N' Roses history that a lot of fans may not know about. And when the media writes about Guns N' Roses, I always see them referring to quote-unquote the original lineup of Axl Rose / Duff McKagan, Izzy Stradlin, and Steven Adler, but in reality, that's not the original lineup of Guns N' Roses. The original lineup of Guns N' Roses, even if it was short-lived, in 1985 was made up of Axl Rose on vocals, guitarist Izzy Stradlin as well as Tracy Guns, drummer Rob Gardner, and bassist Ole Beich. Given the band's volatile history, a lot of people thought that some members of the classic lineup would die, and while they would have close brushes with death, thankfully that never panned out. The same can't be said of the original member Ole Beich. Beich was born in Denmark in 1955 and soon made a name for himself in the local music scene. He would play guitar with several local Danish bands and release an album in 1979 called Rock Nelly and the Flames. In 1981, Beich would audition for the legendary Danish metal band Merciful Fate, and guitarist Hank Sherman would recall that audition, telling a fan on Facebook, "Ole auditioned for the bass position in early 1981. We did a few rehearsals, but we ended up with a different player, Timmy Hansen." So Ole was never officially in the band Merciful Fate, but following his time in Denmark, he would move out to Los Angeles in the early 80s to pursue a career in music. It was during his time in LA that Beich hooked up with the band LA Guns and would become the bass player in the band's first lineup in 1984. The band would put out an EP titled Collector's Edition No. 1, but the band's singer Michael Jagos would soon be arrested and would be replaced by future Guns N' Roses frontman Axl Rose. Given Axl Rose's volatile nature and unpredictability, he would get into an argument with the band's manager and only last as a singer in the band for about 2 weeks, before going back to his old group Hollywood Rose, who had reformed. By 1985, Hollywood Rose would merge with LA Guns, and that was the beginning of Guns N' Roses. The original lineup I referenced at the beginning of the video would only play one show together on March 26, 1985 at the Troubadour in West Hollywood, before Beich would be replaced by bassist Duff McKagan. A friend of Beich, guitarist Robert Cromwell, would remember why things didn't work out in Guns N' Roses, telling a Danish newspaper that Beich did not think that the others were musically skilled enough, and he was more interested in a heavy musical style. Another report claims a variety of reasons why things didn't work out for Beich, including the fact that he missed a rehearsal with the band, and that he wasn't a fan of all the makeup and glam clothes, while at the same time the report claimed that there wasn't enough room for Axl Rose and Beich's egos in the same band. Following his exit from Guns N' Roses, things went downhill for Beich. Broken with no career prospects, he soon became depressed and addicted to heroin, according to a friend. It culminated with a failed attempt to take his own life, and Beich soon returned to Denmark and moved back in with his parents. Watching Guns N' Roses topple the charts and play sold-out shows in the late 80s and early 90s only further contributed to Beich's downward spiral. Guns N' Roses would play Denmark in August of 1991, and a few months after the show in October of that year, Beich's story would have a tragic end. Details are still unclear over what happened, but one evening in October of 91, Beich decided to swim across the lake in the city, located right by a planetarium in Copenhagen, Denmark. The lake is several meters deep in the middle, and the water is extremely cold. Beich would not make it across the lake and would disappear in the night. Police and divers were called in to look for him, but no body was found until almost 20 days later. Beich's body was found in the lake's murky water, and he would die at the age of 36. An autopsy showed that he had both alcohol and heroin in his blood when he died. Was this an attempt to take his own life, or was it something else? Some speculate that he was trying to swim across the lake as part of a bet with friends, while his own family believes it was an attempt to take his own life. That concludes today's story, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, and were you aware of Beich's time in Guns N' Roses? Let me know in the comments section. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow on Rock and Roll True Stories. Take care.